What?
Go ahead.
Ugh. All right, let's see here. If you would like to keep the blanket fort nailed down, because the wind can stop blowing any day now. Kofi.com, the blanket fort. All donations gratefully accepted.
Yes, it keeps the place warm or cold.
And nailed down.
Yeah.
If you like coffee, King Harv's Imperial Coffees at www.kingharv.com. We really like coffee these days. I don't know why. If you order from King Harv's, be sure that you let him know you heard about it from us. We need to pump that coffee machine. If you need a sassy t-shirt, who doesn't need a sassy t-shirt? Among the Leaves Tees at tinyurl.com/Among the Leaves Tees. He has, I'm guessing by now, hundreds of sassy t-shirts. You should order from him. If you do order from him, be sure you let him know you heard about it from us.
Turn coffee into tax returns. That's good, Jen.
Well done.
Yeah. No, Tiff, you do not need a spike on the bottom of your cane. Trust me. You stick that in the wrong place and the cane stays and you'll keep going.
Yeah. I've lately been turning coffee into rants.
Yeah. Speaking of rants, before you get started, as a couple of folks have noted, apparently the head of the anti-terrorism task force, Joe Kent, resigned.
Don't get me started.
Well, the back channel word is he was one of the leakers.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the same rumor that he'd already been cut
the thing,
off from
all honor to him for his service and his trips to Sandbox. And I feel for losing his wife. However, if you're head of the counterterrorism task force and you make the publicly fucking stupid statement that Iran is not a threat to the U.S., I'm sorry, his resignation came a little late. If you can't figure out that Iran has been a threat to the U.S. and will continue to be a threat to the U.S. as long as the mullahs are in charge, reach down, take a firm grasp on both ears, and tug until you see daylight. That was not the rant I was going to get into, but there we go.
No idea who got him. Yeah, James, I know the feeling.
Yeah, no
That's
kidding.
why I don't use Keurigs. Well, can't stand the things, actually.
Tastes like they have the alcohol overtaste.
Yeah. But they worked in Australia when all they had was instant friggin' coffee.
If all you have is coffee, there are the powdered instant coffee. There are a couple that are decent.
Nescafe is not one of them.
Nescafe ain't one of them.
Which is what all the hotels in Australia have.
The Black Rifle Coffee Company single sticks, I don't know if they still are, but back when I was drinking them, were actually fairly decent coffee.
Black Rifle, though.
It's
Not
Black
anymore.
Rifle. I don't order Black Rifle. And then Charbucks.
Yeah.
They have some coffee sticks that are decent. The rest of them, though, no. Ew. Get AeroPress.
Yeah, we think we were all hunting coffee this morning. It was 32 degrees when I got up this morning.
Yep.
And we're supposed to see a high of 99 this week.
Yep.
You better recheck your weather app. It was 101 when I left the. It was just high of 101 when I left the.
Fuck's sake. In other news, California
Wah, wah, wah.
lost another millionaire, or billionaire, I should say. Prior to the.
Please, God, tell me he went somewhere other than Texas.
Nope.
So the estimate now is that over $1 trillion worth of billionaires have left California.
There are other places they can go.
That have admitted it. About half of them have gone to Florida. But the worst part, from a friend of mine who's fairly knowledgeable on California and what's going on out there, is the Democrats in the California House are now looking at a one-time, quote unquote,
Bullshit.
5% tax on all savings accounts in the state of California.
One time. Bullshit.
Yeah, one time every
Uh-huh.
April the 15th.
Yeah.
So that could make things real interesting.
Yesterday, I spent the entire day driving down to Fort Worth and back. And this is not the rant I was going to get into. We'll get there. And my general way is to take 281 down to Jacksboro, and a little south of Jacksboro, hop on 199 and 199 dead ends just about right where I need to be.
Yeah.
And in the bad old days, when I was on inmate transport, that was a nice, clean drive the entire way. Boy, that's changed. 199 between Fort Worth and Jacksboro is getting overrun.
Yep.
How is the tract housing that pops up like frickin' slime mold?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have not seen tract housing till you get to California.
Well, there's yet another reason why I'll never frickin' go there.
Yeah. 9,000 square foot lot with 7,000 square foot of house on it.
I don't want to have to shave my ass before I get there.
Yeah.
Try to go through Denton? No. I don't do Denton. Place where I'm having to go is in Fort Worth. So, and actually the 199 is not that bad. It's annoying, not that bad. But I foresee it getting really sucky here pretty quick.
Yep, it's definitely built up. I can remember driving up Craig Ranch Road back in the late 60s, early 70s, and it was a 2-lane out in the
I
country.
remember when there was pasture between Denton and Dallas.
Yeah,
for
I do
God's
too.
sake.
I do too.
I remember there was pasture between Denton and McKinney.
And part of that was because it was Craig Ranch.
All right. Yeah. So ranchland.
Yeah.
It's like this. It's stupid. It's just stupid. Anyway, my rant. Are you all ready? Go get some coffee. I'm gonna be here for a while. Here recently, Racketeer Press has been approached by an author. And this author has been fairly liberally abused by traditional publishing.
In other words, he's been bent over.
Oh, more famously and more than most.
Yeah.
And he's extremely skittish. So my rant is traditional publishing, listen to me. I'm going to tell you something that is going to blow your minds. You don't have to be douchebags. If you treat your authors like they're people, they'll treat you well. Treat your people well, they'll treat you well. You may not get as rich as fast, but you'll still be comfortable. Just stop being douchebags. I shouldn't be necessary. The pursuit of the almighty dollar and screwing over your authors on the regular and being proud of it. Stop this. Stop being a douchebag. Just, and this one's not the first. This is not the first one that I swear to God, I feel like I'm back in Capers dealing with abuse victims.
Yes,
I've got authors, I swear to God, have PTSD
they do.
just from dealing with douchebag traditional publishers.
And this won't be the last one.
I know, but it shouldn't be necessary.
It should not.
Rick hits the nail on the head. I'm sorry, but you're a knuckle dragging troglodyte, and they are not going to listen.
I know that. I know that, but I can rant about it.
Yeah.
Because, for God's sake, I'm looking at market forecasts. I had a couple of people look at our company, the way it's going, and they're impressed. You know how we did it? We're ethical. I realize that's a 4-letter word in Manhattan, but you should try it. It's different. Might be fun. Stop being douchebags. I'm so... I feel like opening up Law Dog's home for PTSD offers. It's like half my time these days seems to be counseling. This isn't necessary. If you treat your people right, as we're seeing, if you just treat your people like human beings, treat them in your contracts the way you'd like to be treated. Stop being greedy. It's not necessary. And people like me got to pick up the pieces. Racketeer Press should not be necessary. Y'all would stop being douchebags. Everybody's laughing at me. I don't know why. Anyway.
We've heard this once or twice.
I know.
Uh,
I know. Capers is crimes against persons. It is crimes that involve a person directly, not burglary. It's sexual assault. It's robbery, by force. It's crimes that the person's involved. So there's a lot of abuse in capers. And I swear to God, half the time during my entire tenure in capers, I was having to be a counselor for somebody with PTSD. Now it looks like I'm having to do it again. And I don't mind. It does get a bit in the way. I don't mind. Because somewhere deep down here, there is a little bit of a heart. Not real big, but I get so mad because this isn't necessary.
Yeah.
This is not necessary. If you just treat your people right, treat them the way you want to be treated, they'll make money for you. They will go out and do extra to make money for you. But when you treat them like you're a douchebag, they're not willing to help. They're not willing to help. And they walk around all skittish like they got PTSD. And it's not necessary. That pisses me off. Ran over.
for now.
Just fuck.
The real problem is that until about, 2010, I guess, maybe a little earlier, you really had no choice. You either had Trad Pub or you had Vanity. That was it. And then Amazon and KDP happened.
Yeah, and you self-publish.
Yeah, you could self-publish. I did it because I got told that even if I vanity published, I'd never sell 200 copies of vignettes.
And when did you pass 200 copies?
It took about 6 months.
First book.
For a
Takes a
first
little
book,
bit.
that's excellent.
But I'm up over 7,000 copies now.
Yep.
So
Goodness.
apparently I've tricked a few folks into buying shit.
We had an author reach out to us this morning. I responded this morning. And he had spoken to.
Are we having to give him a binky and a cup of hot chocolate to talk to
No,
him?
no.
Oh, thank God.
He sounds quite reasonable. He's fairly new to this. He has written a book, and then he was told that there was no way that traditional publishing would ever look at it because the plot of the book revolves around old men solving mysteries.
Why is that? Why?
Because unless there are females, cozy mysteries do not sell to traditional publishing.
They don't sell yet.
So I enthusiastically responded with, yes, please, we would like to take a look at your book.
I'll read the manuscript. Okay.
Because it's exactly what I was just talking about wanting.
I'll read it.
So
It's like anthologies don't sell. 2 years of Racketeer Press doing one every 2 weeks. I look out there, every fucking buddy's doing an anthology.
Yeah, Tom, I pushed you into publishing too.
Nobody writes books for boys. All right, 2 years ago, we'll write books for boys. Now look out there everywhere. I don't mind that they're doing it. I don't mind that other people are doing anthologies. One, stop doing your authors in the ass. You can do an anthology right and pay your people. Stop being a douchebag. Secondly, and not all of them are douchebags, but you know what I'm. Secondly, I would like somebody to say, I got this idea from Raconteur Press, because they're obviously imitating us.
And if you think they're ever going to admit that,
I know. I can bitch about it though.
Human nature is what it is.
I can bitch about it though.
No, I want to be able to give a home to people that traditional publishing won't take a second look at,
Yeah.
because they don't fit the demographics that traditional publishing.
well, the
is
whole
stuck up on.
basis of what we've done with North Texas Troublemakers,
Mhm.
with what we've done at the cons on indie publishing, was to give people an option. In some cases, to kick people's ass to make them publish, Tom,
Is Tom Rodby on here? Yes, he is.
Yes.
but to make people take that step, because it's really a truism that only 1 in a million people ever actually complete a book and publish it. But we're adding to that, sometimes by force, sometimes by being nice.
You know what makes me want to slap Trad Pub until it piddles and then slap it for piddling? You know what really? I'm going to get to a Manhattan cocktail party one of these days and get thrown out. Is them bitching about X. Not, no, men don't buy books. You don't write books for men. Boys don't read. You're not writing books for boys. Quit bitching about something you're not supporting.
Well,
And stop being douchebags.
they're not going to support it because it doesn't bring them money.
I
They,
beg to
all,
differ.
they revolve around the New York Times bestseller list, which they pay to get on.
I beg to differ about it not paying.
They pay to get on those lists.
Oh, I know that. You will never see Raconteur Press on the New York Times bestseller list because I refuse to cough up blood money.
They also, yeah, you'd have to go to Manhattan. They revolve around New York and Manhattan.
I know.
They have never been out in flyover country. They have no idea what exists outside
Or what people out here want to read.
their tiny little world. It's a incubator that never gets out of that little clique of people.
If your lilac-scented foo-foo little ass has never been off the island of Manhattan, do not tell me what men out here in the hinterlands want to read. You don't have a fucking clue.
They don't care about men. They regard men as a either non-existent market or a rapidly vanishing market. That's where the whole thing of men don't read, boys don't read.
Yeah.
Because of course men aren't going to read if boys aren't reading.
I've got numbers that say different.
I know, absolutely, but they don't want to see that.
And Kermit does bring up a good point. Trad Pub revolves around money laundering, and it does. When they pay Hillary Clinton, how many millions? 8 million, 10 million?
God, yeah. And she sold 42 books.
Yeah.
That's hyperbole. It was probably more than 42. But
Not
she
by
got
much.
She got a 7-figure advance and sold a handful of books.
I can guarantee you that those books sold by the literal truckload, and then they sat somewhere in a warehouse until they got sent to the dollar store.
Well, I know at one point Walmart or Sam's Club had her book for $2.
Uh-huh.
The
Yeah.
hardcover for
Yeah.
$2.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If you ever been into a Dollar Tree and see that one little shelf they've got of
Yeah.
the books that, I mean, now it's $1.25 because
Yeah.
nothing's $1 anymore. But that's where those kinds of books wind up, because they order 10,000 to 100,000 of them to be printed, and then they have to do something with them.
Yeah.
See, douchebags.
Yeah, and that's another good point, Rick. The bookstores Well, very seldom will you see, other than a military bookstore or Stars and Stripes bookstore overseas, will you see anything other than Tor. Now, Larry is always in the overseas bookstores and the
'Cause
military
They
bookstores.
know what sells.
Yeah. But there again, Tor pays to get those just like they pay for the Hugo.
Just
You know, it's that gets into a whole nother.
all of the douchebaggery is so necessary.
Yeah.
And everybody would be comfortable and happy if just stop being douchebags.
They're not going to.
No, a lot of them are openly avowed activists, and this is part of what they're
Yeah.
trying to do to mold civilization into the image they want it to be.
Yeah.
in.
They want their little utopia. They
I
want
mean-
it to be DEI perfect.
I'm not going to step onto my soapbox, but given what happened yesterday and my reaction to it, it's all part of that same.
I was busy. What happened yesterday?
Paul Ehrlich finally became.
Oh, finally got goodified. Tell me he did the needful and topped himself.
No,
Damn it.
old age, I think, 90 something.
Damn it.
But I spent my day posting Norman Borlaug and Julian Simon quotes.
Yes.
Because I'm not going to celebrate a man's death,
But
but I am going to point out that there are people that died too soon and were a great deal more influential on the actual world than one bitter misanthropic old man.
Yeah.
But you can draw a straight line, to go back to where I was going with the traditional publishers.
Between his neck and the railing?
You can draw a straight line
Damn it.
between Malthus, eugenics, Paul Ehrlich, and what we're seeing with the attempt to manipulate the culture and the civilization.
Yep.
And one part of that is traditional publishing. The anti-male thing, the whatever wave feminism we're on now, is all part of reducing the population and eliminating humanity.
Because of
from the
Paul
face of the
Ehrlich,
earth.
who
Yes.
sparked a panic about overpopulation.
yeah,
Well, and the
Did-
ironic
I-
thing,
Didn't have the common decency to lead the charge
here is
over the.
if you look at the dates of when things actually happened, the population bomb, which is his best known work, came out just after Norman Borlaug solved the problem in India. I actually was one of the quotes I was posting yesterday on X and other places talks about the effects were already being seen in, I want to say it was 1967. It was a 60% increase in grain harvest over the famine years that Ehrlich had seen, and then predicted that India was going to completely go away.
Yeah.
He was predicting like 80% death due to famine in India.
Missed that one.
And his publisher and he had to have known.
Yeah.
I mean, I think 2 years after the population bomb came out, Borlaug won the Nobel Prize for this work.
Yeah.
And so they knew. And they decided that it didn't matter. And Ehrlich famously lost the wager with Julian Simon.
Yeah.
Had Simon survived longer than he did, because unfortunately he passed away in 1981, just before his book was published. But had Simon survived longer, he had a partial win of the bet. Ehrlich's check is circulating on the internet for $576, I think it was, because it was $1,000 wager, and the first half of it, Simon won. Ehrlich's wife signed the check because Ehrlich could not bring himself to be a decent human being enough to
Of
actually
course.
write out the check for the bet.
Yeah.
But it's just, it irritates me because he never once even suggested that he might possibly be wrong. And after Simon's death, he insulted him, even though he had lost to him. And this is the man that, I think it was the New York Times yesterday, said that his predictions were premature. No, they were flat wrong.
Yeah.
Pretty sure Latin for wrong.
they were flat wrong, and they hugely influenced the world, and they've led.
It's still influencing the world.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. And but the thing is, it led to China's one-child policy, and
Yep.
that was just that's a hideous mess. Most people have no idea what that actually meant in terms of births and deaths in China and what was done.
And what's being done today for them to get women from other countries.
Yeah, they steal women.
Yeah.
Because they don't have enough of their own.
Yep.
I'm
No,
about to
it's-
say something incredibly tacky, and I won't.
Yes,
This
Steve, that's a good antithesis to what Ehrlich wrote, is The Vision of the Anointed by Thomas Sowell.
Yeah. Thomas Sowell's excellent. Julian Simon's The Ultimate Resource
Yeah.
is another really good one. It's his. It is a direct rebuttal to Ehrlich's work.
Yeah.
And I have
It didn't sell as well.
no, not even close. Well, it's not pop cult. It's not pop science.
Yeah.
Simon actually went in and did a deep dive into economics, and
Why
his
is it-
rebuttal is very scholarly, and Ehrlich's is pop culture buzzwords, easy to read,
Yeah.
easy to digest, and Simon's isn't.
So I've got a question. I already know the answer, but I'm going to ask anyway. Why is it always the doom and gloom bullshit is pop culture, easy to read and wrong?
Because
Michael Mann's bullshit was
Silent Spring, Rachel
Oh,
Carson.
yeah.
I mean,
That heifer. Ooh.
that had just come up in something I was researching recently, and so that was fresh on my mind. And then Ehrlich died, and
Yeah.
so I kind of went off.
Speaking of somebody that was living in West Africa where DDT was a blessing,
Rachel Carson was an undergraduate student, and her premise was wrong.
Yeah.
It
That-
was
that-
flat wrong, and it was provable even at the time that it was wrong. But it was very emotional, and it was very easy to read, and
Mhm.
it went down with the right people, and it
Yep.
got the right push.
it's a Silent Spring. Pop culture bullshit everybody loves.
Well, it's easy to read. See, this is you're looking at the key overlooking the key points. The stuff's always easy to read.
Yep.
It doesn't have any real scientific backing. It's all based on emotion and feels,
Yep.
and it's sound bites.
Yep.
And they will take that 30-second sound bite or that 15-second sound bite, and that's what sells.
Well,
then-
and it gets pushed by the right people, because we come back to the eugenics movement,
Yeah.
which has never gone away.
If I had tried to rebut one of my father's arguments at the dinner table with emotion, bam. That would not. We debated stuff at the dinner table, and you didn't use emotion.
When nobody teaches debate anymore. Nobody teaches critical thinking.
No,
Nobody
boy, that's
teaches
for true.
logic.
That's for true.
I mean, this is the thing. I mean, when Johann was
have you heard any teens talking these days?
well, this is what I'm saying. When Johann was in his early teens, we found a therapist that I actually trusted. Fantastic guy. Autistic. He told us, like in their
Yeah.
first interview, he's autistic, but he started the Men's Mental Health Institute. And this guy was just very down to earth, very practical, very blunt and straightforward. And so he was working with Johann because childhood trauma stuff. And one of the things that startled him is during a session where I was sitting in with him and Johann, I told him that we had been teaching Johann how to argue.
Yeah.
And he was taken aback. But it's a skill that needs to be taught.
Yeah.
Because being able to argue effectively, not from emotion, not using the common fallacies, straw man, and all the other ones that are out there. I think Larry Correa made a good list of those at one point,
Yeah.
but there's some others out there as well. It's teaching how to effectively argue is an important skill, and almost nobody gets it these days.
Not only does nobody get it, but nobody has learned, especially in the younger generation, how to actually listen. Listening is a key point. Keep your mouth shut, your ears open, and it's amazing what you will hear.
Well, you've heard me multiple times. I've told inmates, you've talked and I've listened. Now you shut up and let me talk.
Yeah.
That's how communication works. One person talks, one person listens, and then they swap.
Yeah, Tom. They don't listen. They just wait for their turn to blather. Yeah.
Well, and the other thing too is that we know from research that people are losing attention span. They don't have the ability.
Thank you, TikTok.
Exactly. I mean, we're down to, what is it now, 45 seconds?
15
No.
is last I heard.
Yeah.
It's below that, 8
it?
seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've been studying how to make the little short videos, the reels, to promote my books. And I think you have to grab someone's attention within the first 1.2 seconds.
Yeah.
So it's,
And it used to be a little bit longer than that. I think that's where the 8 seconds
TikTok
came
is
from.
what, 15 seconds long?
No, they can be much longer
Yeah,
than
okay.
that. I know the shorts on YouTube, because I'm not looking specifically at TikTok, the shorts on YouTube are now up to 3 minutes long.
Yay, 3 minutes.
It was 4 seconds to grab their attention. Now it's
Mhm.
down to less than 2.
Yeah, so
It'd take 4 minutes to wind up a good rant.
the challenge there is that from a marketing perspective, I have to figure out how to make that work. I have a preference for long form.
Yeah.
I have a preference for long form essays. If I'm going to do video, I have a preference for long form video, although I will usually speed it up because most people talk really slow.
Jesse, we're talking about both YouTube and TikTok.
Yeah, the research I was doing was YouTube specific, but I'm sure it applies to TikTok as well.
Yeah.
I haven't been looking at TikTok. I'm still not sure I want to do TikTok. I paid someone to do TikTok for me for a year and the numbers just weren't there. So
You're right, Greg. Long form is never promoted. It's always the, oh, I was not aware of that. Wayne says TikTok does not pay unless someone watches 61 seconds.
I'm not worried about TikTok paying me.
Yeah.
I'm looking at using this as a marketing tool.
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing too, which is that long form is actually promoted in one place right now. And this is really interesting to me. X is prioritizing articles.
Yeah.
So if you're writing an essay on X, so we're talking, I don't know, I haven't read a huge amount of them. Rack Press uses it and I've started using it. So we're looking at anywhere from 300 words to John Conrad's essay the other day about anger was excellent. It had to be probably 3,000 words. But I've started doing that and immediately my engagement numbers on those are triple or quadruple what a simple post gets.
Yeah.
So X is actually prioritizing the long form articles, which I find fascinating because that's the opposite
I'm
of any place other than Substack.
I'm fascinated by the comment section at Instapundit that refers to my Substack articles as being too long to read.
Yeah.
Seriously?
So Instapundit is a lot of the comments on Instapundit are actually paid trolls.
Yeah.
Hmm.
They're paid to leave negative comments. And so
They've been trying to take Instapundit down for years.
Yep. So that is a known factor there. So they're coming up with anything negative they can to say and will. So I never look at the comments at Instapundit.
I go through there occasionally for the hell of it. And it's like, too long to read. Summation? That was a 200-word essay I bind together. Too
They're
long to
paid-
read?
They're paid trolls. They don't have that much reading comprehension. Give them a break.
I refuse.
Yeah, Wayne brings up a good point. I'd always thought the shorter attention span really took off during the height of MTV.
Yeah.
Because most music videos
3 minutes long.
3 to
Yeah.
3.5 minutes
Yep.
long.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
That was really also, and that's an outstanding point. That was really also when people stopped having to imagine in their own head what the video was,
Yeah.
what the music was.
Yeah.
Now they had a video
Hmm.
that told them what they were supposed
And
to
they
be thinking
did,
about.
they did have to do their own brain cycles to come up with it.
I never got into MTV, didn't have television when it was the big thing. But I have found since then that, like, if I look up a song on YouTube, I will usually hide the video, like open it in a tab and play it and then look at something else, because I don't like, I like what my head comes up with
About to say,
rather than the
I'm here to tell you
videos.
the music videos in my head were a lot better than the ones on MTV.
No, there's some exceptions to that. There's a
Teenage Ian came up with some great music videos.
oh yeah, no, I'm thinking there's a
Nude bodies might have had something to do with it.
Well, have you heard that? Have you heard that song "Girls on Film"?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I've got tinnitus. I had tinnitus when I was a kid. I heard "Girls on Squirrels." I thought it was "Girls on Squirrels." So I had this music videos, this Ralph Bakshi roto film with giant squirrels and bikini-clad chicks with swords riding these giant war squirrels into battle. The actual video, very disappointing.
Just another day at Rack.
see, here's the difference between men and women, because he's talking about girls on squirrels, and I'm talking about music videos that involve classical music and drone footage
Bugs Bunny.
of beautiful wilderness.
Bugs Bunny.
Yes, well, Bugs Bunny is the
Killed a wabbit.
best entry to opera ever.
I had this lovely, Ralph Bakshi rotoscope, these animated giant war squirrels with women in chainmail bikinis riding them into battle. And then I saw the actual video and I was rather disappointed.
Oh, they didn't have the budget for that.
Inside my head was free.
Well, it's like the number of people that thought Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds that the Beatles did
Uh-huh.
was about stars.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't. It was about them doing LSD.
A lot of their music had to do with drugs, didn't it?
Yeah.
Well, music came around because of drugs.
Yeah.
I've always assumed the Yellow Submarine had to do with drugs. But...
Yeah. Yeah. Johnny raises an excellent point. Back in the day, the 3 minute and 5 second limit was set to get more songs on a vinyl LP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was the way it was done. Because there was a make break
Mm-hmm.
in the recording industry.
Yeah.
And that goes all the way back to the 30s and 40s. Hell, it goes back to probably to the start of the recording industry. How much could you cram on one of the rolls, or how much could you cram on an LP?
Yeah.
And how big at 33 RPM,
Mm-hmm.
your record was about that big.
Mm-hmm.
How much time could you get on that? 3.5 minutes.
Yeah. And I think there's always been a certain economy of scale in the production of anything that gave it limitations. Even now, when we talk about rack press books, I'm like, if it's over 120,000 words, it is 2 books.
Yeah.
Part of that is because the print cost of a paperback for a larger novel, the way we format ours, becomes impractical for us to do a longer novel at that size.
Yeah.
Because we're not talking about the same mass quantity of production that a mass market paperback would get. And mass market paperbacks are going away.
I don't know what a mass market paperback is. I suck at publishing. I have no idea what...
They have not
Louis
made.
L'Amour, the size of a Louis L'Amour
Got it.
paperback.
Yeah. I don't know of anybody other than occasionally does a mass market paperback anymore.
No, they all do. They do trades.
Yeah.
Rack Press doesn't. We format our novels at 5 inches by 8 inches. It's as close as we can practically get to a mass market paperback, because people like that smaller format size. Also, it differentiates the novels from our anthologies, which are the 6x9 trade paperback size. But so the other part of the reason that with 120,000 words, that's 2 60,000 word novels, is because, and goes back to the records as well. If you could fit 20 songs on a record, you still could only charge X amount for the record. But if you had 10 songs on one record and 10 songs on another record, then you had 2 sales.
Yeah.
I am so proud. Tom Rognaby, I just told Midjourney to make me girls in bikinis carrying swords riding a battle on war squirrels. Now I need eye bleach. My work here is done.
The other thing too, which as y'all know, because I screwed that up, putting too many pages into a paperback,
Yes.
you end up breaking the spine.
Yes. Yeah.
And really anything over about 400 pages, which is give or take around 100,000 words.
Yeah.
Your spine gets too thick.
Yep. So what we're dealing with here is what are called perfect bound books. They're anything but perfect. But perfect bound refers to a bookbinding technique that's basically the pages are glued in.
Yeah.
And when you get beyond a certain thickness, a perfect binding breaks. And I have counseled a couple of clients that they were talking about 700 or 800 page trade paperback sizes. And I'm like, that is too large. That is too large of a book for someone to comfortably hold and read, and it's going to break.
Yeah.
And
Tom, I did not get an image. Maybe a good thing.
yeah, so I was going to say that might be a good thing. I may poke Midjourney when we're done and see. So,
And in a bikini wearing a squirrel.
So the thing
And a
is,
squirrel wearing a bikini.
with the limitation of doing perfect bound paperbacks, which is how most print on demand books are bound, you can do higher end books these days for print on demand, and we will be looking into those, but they're going to cost more.
As RK says, a really good thick book has sewn pages. Yes, that's the difference.
Right, but you're not going to find that.
Too expensive these days.
Yeah, it unless it's a specialty binding, you are not going to find sewn pages. Those are called signatures. I have done a little bit of bookbinding, taught myself how to do some bookbinding last year for fun.
And you will pay through the nose for those.
Yeah, which is what I was about to say, which is we can, in theory, get hardbound books with a dust jacket. The problem is going to be that we have to stay within certain sizes. There are special sizes, and they're going to be very expensive. I mean, we can also do super specialty stuff that has sprayed edges and foil on the covers and do some really pretty books. But then we're talking probably $50 a book, and most people are not willing to spend that for a book.
Huh, let me see. $50, I can buy a book. I can buy this beautiful book, or Happy Meal at McDonald's. Which I
mean, Happy Meals are a little less than $50 still. However,
I beg to differ, madam.
The other comparison there is you could buy one $50 hardback or 10 $5 ebooks.
Yeah.
And most of our readers are voracious readers. They're in this for the volume.
Yeah.
When you have a super fan that wants that, then maybe it's worth the time and effort to set it up. But it's a hell of a lot of work.
Speaking of voracious readers, we are going to start needing some free slush readers here pretty quick.
Yeah, for the novels. Boys' books are handled, but we're probably going to need 1 or 2 volunteers to help us with reading novels slush. So, just saying, guys.
We can give you a free copy of the book when it's published. So
Yeah.
I was saying mild abuse.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we.
well, it's that, or I give them like an 1/8 of a cheese sandwich.
We're moving up in the world.
And I mean, the guys are going to object if I slice their sandwiches any smaller.
I didn't realize we had left Nick in the cage in the basement. My bad. Oops.
We've been busy. Sorry.
Yeah, we're going to be looking for some slush readers, and we can't pay you other than mild abuse, and it's the abuse will be half-hearted because I'm really busy these days.
How many cheese sandwiches per novel?
None.
Cheese sandwiches are
saving-
solved for editors.
I'm saving the cheese sandwiches for the editing staff.
Hey, wait a minute. I didn't get a cheese sandwich when I did it.
I will fix that, Jim. What's your favorite
My-
kind of cheese?
My bad is probably still on the front porch. drive by cheese sandwich.
Edible.
The one that's been in the fridge for 6 months.
Oh, boy.
Sorry. RK says, speaking of Happy Meals, when a sit-down restaurant charges less for a good lunch
No
than chain
kidding.
fast food, I'm skipping the
kidding.
fast food. Yes.
Yeah.
If my the only reason when I'm on the road, if I'm not with Rita, I want to get home. So I get what John calls window food, which typically involves fast food. So Happy Meal is Nancy, you and Gordon should we need to talk.
The other thing, I want to go back to one thing though, talking about food. This is something that's important. And Dave Spalding, our friend Dave Spalding, had an interesting post about it this morning on LinkedIn.
I fix it because it's the one I'm thinking of. They threw him off of Facebook for no reason.
But talking about meetings at diners rather than fancy restaurants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good plan to me.
Because
Restaurants.
A, it's nowhere near as expensive.
Mhm.
B, you can pretty much find anything. You can find something to eat on a diner menu.
Yeah.
C, they're not going to bitch at you if you sit there and drink extra coffees.
And
And
quite,
D, there's always pie.
There's always
Yes,
pie.
yes.
quite honestly, I've done going to meet authors. If I'm driving somewhere to meet an author, half the time I ask, "Hey, what's your favorite Mexican place?"
Yeah.
Hole in the wall Mexican place.
Yeah.
They'll bring chips and salsa till you're, and they don't bitch at you if you sit there and eat chips and salsa. If you finish a meal and sit there and eat chips and salsa, maybe flan, and drink tea and do business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were talking about the prices of a sit-down meal. Our local Chinese buffet that Sanford and I like, for the lunch buffet, all you can eat Chinese buffet, it's $10.99.
Yeah.
I don't think you can get a combo meal at pretty much any of the fast food
No.
restaurants for that much.
No. Wayne brings up an excellent point too. 8-ounce sirloin lunch at Texas Roadhouse
Yeah.
with 2 sides is $20 with a tip.
Yeah.
15 to 18 bucks at McDonald's.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't eat steak if McDonald's served it, but yes.
But the point is,
Yes.
Steak.
yeah,
No, but and Jim knows this. We will hit good hole in the wall Mexican places,
oh yeah,
and they'll have the enchiladas or the quesadillas,
Yeah.
and then sit there and nosh on chips and salsa and drink tea, and they don't care.
Yeah, and if you can find a nice little mom and pop diner, that's an
Yeah.
excellent choice.
Yeah.
And we've got one here in town, and we've found one pretty much everywhere we've lived. Even
if
when
you
we
don't
lived
mind
in
the
city.
harassment from the waitresses, yes.
And that's kind of a perk, actually.
We have taken people to fancy restaurants, authors mainly as a we can't give you much else. We'll go to a fancy restaurant. But if I'm meeting one I'm fixing to have to head down to San Antonio and talk to one of our authors on other stuff. I'm going to find a hole in the wall Mexican place,
Mhm.
and we're going to go eat probably fajitas, and then we're going to sit there and nosh on chips and drink iced tea while we get our business done.
As RK says, we know exactly which local cafes to hit up and down 281. Yeah,
The coffee cup in Hiko is
Yeah.
really nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, Wayne, the best places do call me boss when I walk in. I don't take authors there. I need to keep them unstabulated so they can write for me.
you know, I used to, when I was in DC in Virginia, Northern Virginia, one of the things we used to do when we had people come into town was we'd always take them down to Silver Diner.
Okay.
But, and yes, that's a chain, but this was one of the original silver diners.
Mhm.
So it actually looked like a dining car.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I've seen a few of them.
Yeah.
So Tom says, you took me there, but I didn't get stabbed. That's because they didn't want to stab a potential father-in-law, Tom.
Also because Tom is a very large mammal.
He's also very well. Trust me, those little waitresses don't care.
No, I know.
But no, they did not want to irritate a potential daddy-in-law.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, there's that. We know. His big blonde teenage boy was the hit
Yeah.
of all those little senoritas.
Our case chimed in. You want to eat at Eduardo's Mexican restaurant?
She's giving you instructions for
Yeah.
San
Oh, I know.
Antonio.
I know. I'm going to have our author tell us where you want. Find me a diner or Mexican restaurant. That's where I'll meet you. I'm buying chow.
Mention Eduardo's.
Okay. I gotta be able to find it. Remembering, I don't handle cities well.
Peterborough Diner up northeast is a 1930s diner.
Oh my gosh, yes, I've been to Peterborough Diner, and yes, it is lovely. There's a diner in Tilton, New Hampshire that is not an original, but they work very hard at having that 1950s vibe.
Yeah.
The Tilton Diner.
I saw RK. He's also reasonably priced. I was thinking Tom's son.
I mean, we don't know. He might be. Honestly, you said that about the tall blonde, the blonde young man coming in the senoritas, and I'm like, next time Johan's home on leave, I maybe should take him in there.
Oh, if he wants a pretty little senorita with painted on jeans and a switchblade, you can read Microtech
Yeah.
through the jeans. That's where we need to go.
Yeah. Food is excellent.
Oh yeah, I know it is. I've been there a couple of times. I'm not sure I've ever taken Johan in
We took. I took John Van Stry there,
there.
and I warned him about the. I warned him about
The salsa.
the salsa. Woo! And that man was pounding down salsa. Woof!
Yeah.
Tom's son is not, in fact, reasonably priced. Has he run over a lawnmower recently?
Oof. That boy. Not that mine has done anything
Wayne.
better, but
Wayne says, do I need to take some time off and play Sherpa?
Maybe. I don't know. Everybody, now I'm hungry. I don't want to go back in Wichita for Mexican food.
Now you got another one, La Faga. La Fogata.
Cedar, if you bring him in his blues, you'll be a grandmother before you pay the check.
Yeah, probably.
I'm not going to say yes. I'm not going to say no.
This far from the ocean, you're probably right, Rick.
oh, he won't be here on leave for quite some time because he's taking leave for his grandfather's memorial. And other than that, the leave situation is going to be a little up in the air for a while, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, Jim, I understand the Navy gives you your E4 without a board these days.
In the old days, we had to test for it.
You
These
polished up
days-
a T-Rex and rode him into.
So what currently they're doing is it's automatic at 30 months with an endorsement from the commanding officer.
Apparently, Jim had to sit aboard for his E4.
Yeah, I had to take a test.
I suspect ranks meant a little more back when you were in.
Yeah,
So
there were, yeah. No comment.
Doug and everybody else in San Antonio, I'm going to be making several trips down there for business reasons. This one is business other than author business, so this is going to have to be a rack press and this author on business other than author business. But I'll be sweeping back down there quite a bit. So yeah, the folks in San Antonio, we could definitely meet up.
Yeah, Rick, the Dixie Cup was a guaranteed panty remover. That was what was fun about being on the drill team. the amount of travel that we did to places that didn't normally see Navy. I'll just say we had fun.
I'm not saying a thing.
Oh,
Well, the best one, I will mention best one, Cheyenne Frontier Days.
In Wyoming?
Yes,
What the hell's a Navy doing in Wyoming?
not
there's a
only the
base
Navy,
there.
the Silent Marine Drill Team was there, along with the Tyler Rangerettes.
Oh my.
Oh dear.
Trouble.
Now,
9 months later, there's a population report.
no, they're not our fault,
No,
but
lack of
I will say they put us and the Marine Silent Drill Team in the same barracks out at F.E. Warren.
Oh dear.
Mhm.
Oh dear, that was a mistake.
So we might have had a beer or three the night before the parade
Uh-oh.
and found out that we were spaced on either side of the Rangerettes in the parade route. So we decided we would have a little fun. So we were splitting drill teams, marching through the Rangerettes, doing bomb disposals into the crowd.
Uh-huh.
We'd go up in front, they'd go to the back. We would change. We would do a slow march. We'd do a quick march. Those poor girls didn't know what was going on.
And that wasn't taken advantage of whatsoever.
And then we, at the fairgrounds, they actually had what we call the bomb squads from both groups
Mhm.
perform, which is a 4-man formation with the director in the center. And it's done with live bayonets.
Oh.
So we swapped and put the Marine Sergeant Major in ours and the chief in theirs. And I will never forget that Marine said, if one of you MFs cuts me with a bayonet, there is going to be hell to pay. The worst part, though, was trying to keep our footing on that damn rodeo ground,
Horse flop.
among other things, and ended up throwing out our dress whites when we got back
Oh.
because they could not be cleaned.
Mm.
Anyway, books. I'm still working on mine.
I am probably not getting a novel out in March. Right now I'm leaning towards I'll put out a short story. I just have too much going on this month. However, Raconteur Press, we
Go.
have a Wobblegong and His Boy, which is our boys' book this month, is available now for pre-order. Drops live March 20th with the paperback and the ebook. Sorry,
Friday. Yep.
Right.
Friday. Yes, that is Friday. And we also have Ken Lizzie's Twilight Galaxy. The first of those is Deccasun, and that is available now for pre-order and drops live at some point. I don't recall off the top of my head. What's that?
Next week.
Next week, Jonah says.
She would know.
And
Please tell us do all day.
the things we just had Mad Science 2 go live, and the next one up will be Anti-Heroes, but that's not until next month. So
We
I just
also
happen to have been working on it. That's why I remember.
Yeah.
we also possibly have some really big news. Tell your friends they need to follow Raconteur Press because we might have some really big news. Possibly. Maybe.
And they want to know when your next graveyard story is, Cedar.
That's the one that I am working on, and it will not be this month, so probably end of April. So
Yep. The
end of April, just because I have a lot going on. So
and a couple of things. Yeah, Andy's Heroes is going to be fun.
mhm.
Thank you.
Reed had good fun. Had good fun editing that one.
Thank you to the folks that have donated to Callie Grayson.
Yes,
Every little bit helps.
and spread the word. He needs more. He needs to hit that 30 grand. His man's hurting.
Yeah, they New York denied him short-term disability because of arthritis.
Yep.
It's a pre-existing condition. Also, since we are not having Fools Con this year because it got too friggin' expensive, we'll be doing the next quarterly get together here on April the 18th at Sammy's Social Center. I posted that in North Texas Troublemakers today.
And I'll put up a sign up sheet here real soon now.
Yeah.
So we can spread that around.
And if you can't bring anything,
That's fine too.
Bring
That's
an
fine,
appetite.
too. Bring
an
your-
appetite.
Yeah,
bring your butt. That's what we want to talk.
right.
Well,
So
not what we want to see.
I'm about to say, you need to reword that just a little bit.
So, I mean, on the sign up sheet, I'll put down sections for food, but also for things like plastic utensils, plates, and beverages. Because I know people are going to be traveling in and can't necessarily prepare a meal and bring it. But if you still want to contribute, I'll put in a section for non-perishable stuff that can be added in. And I want to point out, because Jim won't, that he's on the hook for the hall rental for this. So a little bit of a cover charge to hand to him when you walk in the door would be a really nice thing to do.
Would not be turned down.
RK, understand the mom's 101st is a lot more important than us.
And there
Uh,
will be other ones. This isn't, we're going to do this again.
Yeah.
Rack Press will be at Liberty Con. It's probably going to be our big con for the year. We suddenly got really busy, and I mean really busy. I'm just, Lord have mercy. 2026, 2027 going to be interesting. Just saying.
All right, folks. Now we've wasted another hour of your time. We do appreciate y'all
For
putting up with our
certain
rants.
values of waste.
Huh?
For certain values of waste.
One quick note. My mother just sent me a message. Hillsdale College is offering a free online logic and rhetoric course.
Oh, nice.
So it's aimed for homeschooled high schoolers, but it would be applicable to adults as well. So there you go.
Yeah.
If you're soft
Logic.
in those areas,
That's what I said about 2024, 2025. Yeah. And
it's not getting any less interesting.
no, it's not.
Yeah, I'll agree with Rick. Stay safe, everyone.
And be sure to tell everybody to follow Ractor Press's Substack, because, like I said, we may have some news, possible news coming out that going to be interesting. Maybe.
All right, folks,
So-
remember, don't sweat the petty stuff.
All
Don't
your-
sweat sweaty stuff.
All your friends and family, subscribe to Ractor Press Substack.
We'll see you later. Bye-bye.